Hot tubs are this kind of like sticky, stretchy, soupy time of slowness and staying, and time feeling different lengths, different textures for all of us. Our sense of time is both deeply intuitive and also nonlinear. And like for me, the time once I was back felt so different than the time that I was there. I think, our calendars, for example, the things most of us live and die by these days, tell us that time is superlinear, objective, and the same shape all day long. 1 hour blocks of meetings, half an hour blocks of meetings. We've kind of artificially constructed the air of time to believe that it is uniform when really it's not. And hot tubs are experiential moments, artifacts, architectures that kind of invite stillness and quiet and presence and sensing. And in that too, what they invite is stories and they invite listening. And the latter of which we certainly seem to be lacking so much of in cyberspace. Our physical world, on the other hand, is full of, frothy cappuccinos and handmade mugs and cedar hot tubs. And, our physical world has reading a book in a window nook and art and couches designed like these as listening pits. Our physical world kind of has lingering as a fundamental part of it, a fundamental feeling. But in cyberspace, rarely are we allowed to linger or invited to listen because lingering and listening are not productive. Lingering means having enough and it means being enough. And listening means being quiet, still, and it means receiving as an act of care, not receiving because you're being waterboarded with ads and notifications being forced down your eyeballs. I think capitalism requires our consumption and our not enoughness and our productivity. And, it's constant gamification, levels, and more and more and more. And lifestyle brands telling us that, we'd be an entirely different person with an entirely different life if we just bought this shirt. And our attention has been commodified. It's the thing we now spend as we spend time. But these things we're spending our time on in the space, for the most part, are not hot tubs. They are money grabs and eyeball grabs. But what if instead we designed more cyberspaces and more cyber physical spaces that were designed like this? I don't know how many of you have been to this beautiful website. It's called Window Swap. And you literally just press the button and it takes you to someone else's window somewhere else in the world. And you can just watch the train go by or the bird at the bird feeder or the bush outside or the snow. And that's it. That's all it does. And that's a hot tub. Or this website, which is called Radio Garden, where you can travel around the world and drop in and listen to radio from wherever it is that you want. And again, just exist in the soundscape of a different place. Or this delightful little experience where you can spin around and like be the record player for Weezer's single, which I love. And it acknowledges humans as kind of like bigger than the screen, not contained by it. The experiences in real life with the audience, not just kind of like in the URL space. It acknowledges that we want to like exist with experience, not just like observe and look at experience with our eyeballs. If like so much of digital space has been designed kind of with the metaphor and reality of time as money, that is the language that we use, and it is constantly reinforcing kind of this structure of like spending time, scarce time, all of these things, and our attention as money. What if we chose a different metaphor? What if time were not money? What if time were laughter or lusciousness or liquid? What if it were more textural or full of joy? All these things. What would a new kind of metaphorical construction of time do for us as individuals, as people with bodies, as collectives, as communities? And what I think it would be is that it would help us design more ways to kind of savor life. And in the end, in all likelihood, it would mean probably designing for less.